Greetings, my friends. Um, I thought I'd hop on here real quick and catch you up on what's going on. I'm still alive, amazingly. Um, it's been an insane 2 weeks. Um, I was going to post on Christmas Day, uh, and I lost my voice, and I came down with COVID. But before I even knew I had COVID, I came home and my pipe had frozen and cracked. So it flooded my what I call my living room. This actually used to be my living room. Um, but that corner back there is where I watch movies on the big TV. I've recorded videos back there before. It's really the dining room. You know, even has this faux chandelier. Can you see that faux chandelier right there? Yeah, that one. So it is underneath an incline of the roof. It's not underneath any of the floors, any of the rooms upstairs. Thank goodness. So the pipe, it does go up to the bathroom, one of the top bathrooms, but it didn't go out that side. It came through that roof part and started seeping through the drywall. By the time I got home, the carpet was wet, water was splashed everywhere. I managed to save a few things that almost got messed up. One Blu-ray, thank God, my guitar, that didn't get on the television or any of my, it did get on some of my DVDs. It splashed all the way and seeped through the carpet all the way over towards that bookcase. It didn't quite get there. But in that corner, on that side of the bookcase, I had stacked against the wall a whole bunch of DVDs, basically half of what's left of my DVD collection that I haven't sold, put on eBay yet for sale. The other half is in the bookcase on the bottom shelves, stuff I'm probably going to keep indefinitely or forever. I've been gradually weeding. So I had put aside a bunch that I wanted to do videos on. They're upstairs in my room, thank God. Gods, whoever. And the ones here were ones I was going to go through and sell. I was going to probably get new cases for them with the wraparound plastic. I ordered from Amazon like 20 a pack or 50 pack. So all of those, all the ones on the carpet got extremely wet on the bottom. I mean, the DVDs themselves are okay, but the packaging is just horrible. And then some of the ones that I had put aside that I was going to do some shows on, that are in limbo, that are not on Blu-ray at all. That I was going to do a Extreme Forgotten episodes on. Those are the packages they just don't look that great. So anyway, but there was a couple of stacks of ones that I decided I definitely was going to soon sell, and a lot of those, So I lost some things I could sell. My couch got wet. My couch is leather. It's fine, but or vinyl. But I did have a stack of things to sell on that, books and comics, and a lot of them got really ruined. More of the books. Anything that was sitting against the couch, like on top of the sheet that I have on the couch, or which is cloth, or that was on top where the water was splashing down, they're fucked. But I had a stack of comic books, and the vast majority of them, well, they were almost all in bags and backings. The vast majority of them had no water damage. You just can never tell with this stuff. So this is the third serious flood that I've been a victim of that has cost me some of my comics or things that I wanted to sell on eBay and now really kind of can't sell or have to sell really cheap. I am selling some of my older water damaged comics. So I won't get into all the floods. I mean, the last one, it's a long story. I'll save that for another video. One was at the old house on Selwyn, the one I inherited from my father, the one I grew up in. He had there were a lot of leaks and things in the 2000s. during that period where we started having some ice storms and things. And this is when this guy, Pat McCrory, this fucking motherfucker who had been our mayor, this ultra left wing ultra super right wing conservative fucker, closeted homosexual man. Uh, he was one of Bush's rangers. You know, George W. Bush had these levels, like of people who donated a certain amount or had some kind of connection in supporting him with the Iraq War publicly. A bunch of politicians jumped on this bandwagon, a bunch of fucking Republican lunatics, and he was one of the most lunatics. So, but each level had like a name, like a warrior or a champion. You know, if you gave such and such, you're a warrior. So Pat McCrory, he was, I don't know what his actual level was, but I'm just going to say he was a warrior. The only thing that motherfucker ever declared war on was the people of Charlotte, North Carolina, and the people of North Carolina. Because at that time he was the mayor and he was sitting on the board of Duke Power. And Duke Power's handling of the ice storms was absolutely pathetic and atrocious. And McCrory just acted like it was a joke. His power was on. He didn't lose his power for weeks. He didn't have his basement flood. And then that guy ends up becoming governor a couple of years later. So in 2016, needless to say, even though I had almost completely by then given up on voting for any Democrats, now I have. I did vote for Roy Cooper for mayor. I don't want to say lesser of two evils. I guess he was the lesser of two evils. I didn't perceive him as evil then. I just perceived he'd be like a do nothing. You know, but he's not as bad as McCrory. So yeah, it really was lesser of evils. Had to get McCrory out. And that's one of the last times I cast a vote. That's the last time I cast a vote of that nature. To vote against somebody, man. Which is what most people do now. They're voting so Trump won't be president or so a Republican won't be in office. But Roy Cooper now is like a boot-licking ass kisser to Joe Biden. I mean, it's embarrassing and pathetic. And I saw a bunch of this on video on YouTube of their little meetups in North Carolina and in Washington. And Roy Cooper isn't doing a goddamn thing for North Carolina. So he's not running it into the ground like McCrory on a power trip. But he's just basically a lying, corrupt, ineffectual, a fat moron. So that was the first flood, was in the old house with the McCrory days. Second was 2 years ago, summer of 2021, when my ceiling in my walk-in closet, which was rather large and had all my comic books and some of my clothes, it caved in. I didn't even know it was getting wet, but I'd had problems with my central air, which is hard to live without. I've mentioned this before in these videos. I don't have central air anymore, no cold air, and I don't have any heat. So the pipe thing happened partially because I don't have heat. So basically both of my last two floods that have cost me things that I would rather not have lost were essentially because of piping and plumbing and insulation and, HVAC kind of issues that existed when I moved in here, but no one told me at all, and I could not afford an inspection at all. And the first time I had problems with these issues, I had quite a lot of money in the bank, so I would just pay cash and get them taken care of. And I would find like little indie guys who would do it. I had a guy named Sam Seong Death. He's Vietnamese, and he's my height, a little guy. Or the Death Song Man is what I called it, not to his face. But anyway, the Death Song Man, Sam Seong Death, he was my man. And he fixed up my Freon tank, and he got my everything going. Because when I moved in here, I had no air conditioning. I mean, I had no central air. It wasn't on. And the people who sold me in the house didn't bother to tell me this. This is like July in Charlotte. So after a couple of weeks of suffering, I'm like, what the hell? Why isn't this thing coming on? So anyway, Sam hooked me up, a few $100s here and there, and then Benjamin Franklin Plumbing hooked up some of these other plumbing backups. But after a while, the little guys like Sam went out of business, disappeared. In the post-COVID era, they're gone. The bigger companies consolidated, and they raised their prices like insanely. So I still have a flooding problem in my house. My remedy is my only recourse is to keep the water off. So I have no running water except when I take a shower, I turn it on just long enough. But I'm upstairs, so I can't monitor the leak. I do have trash cans under it, tarp, but they're halfway full of water when I came downstairs. But at least my carpet isn't any wetter. But yeah, the carpet is beginning to mold, like visibly mold. But I have put baking soda on it. I've been trying to dry it, so it doesn't smell. But when it first happened, this first happened the day after, like on Christmas Day, I had COVID. I slept almost the whole day, and the next day. But when I would wander down here, my living room area smelled like fecal matter or a corpse, and I thought, I've got a couple bags of trash here. Maybe that's the problem. But actually, no. It was the carpet, the festering microbial vestules, whatever, vestibules, pustules, festering and bubbling up under the carpet. God knows what spawn lie beneath that carpet. Hell lies behind that door. That was from Suspiria, right? And the Sky Alex used to always quote that to each other. They were just walking by each other at the bookstore where we worked. One of us to say, "Hell lies behind that door." But we all know hell lies behind that door, and that's what life's about. Hell lies behind every door. And I'm getting philosophical here. So anyway, that's what's happened to me. I lost my voice. I couldn't talk at all for a week. So I finally posted on my community page on here. I hope you guys look at it. Some of you give me thumbs up on some of the videos that I post. I post my new video links, announcements, and things I think are kind of whimsical or tying in with just something on my mind, or previews of things I intend to do in the future. Like I did a very oblique kind of post of two images, like 3 weeks ago, and one of them was from a movie that I was going to cover on Christmas Day. The other one was from an extreme forgotten movie that I do want to cover very soon. I don't own a copy, but I can easily find it for streaming. I don't think I have a copy. I didn't burn a copy of that one from Rare Lust. I don't think he had it. If he did, I should have. Maybe I have a copy. I don't know. But anyway, it's on Tubi and I think it's on Shudder and it's everywhere. And soon I'll tell you about it. So in any case, that's what's going on. I have returned. I'm coming back. I have returned. I now possess your body, and I will make you burn. That's the number of the beast by Iron Maiden. I have been absorbing music like a sponge, even more than usual. All kinds of crazy shit, and old classic shit too. I've been writing on Flickr Street like a maniac. I haven't posted anything new on the website in many weeks. I've gained a few fans who've started giving me some active feedback, which I rarely ever get. One was one of my coworkers. She was the last person I expected to be actively interested in finding out about my website and my art and all this stuff. And then she commented on specific characters and stuff, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. I got a fan. And, I mean, I've known her for 3 years. She works at the store I work at. Her name's Maria. So if I knew her last name, I'd thank her in the comments. Maybe I'll just thank her as Maria. So I work with like 5 Marias. But anyway, so I've gotten back to work. Today was my 3rd day back. Today was my first long day back. My back and right hip went out again. I'm in a lot of pain right this minute. Not as much as I was. So there's that problem. So in any case, I'm gonna take some Aleve and some nerve pain medicine, um, and some Klonopin, and I'm gonna drink tea, and I'm gonna cook myself something awesome like my dark energy tostadas, which I think are just amazing. I don't. I'm not trying to be brag, but I've been really happy with the last few things I cooked. That stuff I can mainly do in the microwave, uh, and with food prep, microwave. But um, I did finally cook something with running water. I mean, I got jugs of water. I was able to wash some dishes, fairly warm water, and then I was able to boil water and make some incredible noodles called momofuku noodles, and I topped them with a sauce that was it teriyaki? It was kind of like a teriyaki sesame sauce, and I used coconut aminos to cook, to boil and fry it with. And I sizzled some uh, broccoli and cauliflower and tofu together with all that, and then I poured all of it on the noodles, the unsuspecting noodles, and it was an awesome, amazing experience. So, that lasted me 2 days, 4 meals. So, uh, I like cooking. I love cooking. It just it's creative, and I feel better when I eat stuff that's been cooked, stuff that I've made, prepared, even if it's microwaved, but it's stuff that's all the ingredients I put together, I assemble. They're either fresh or they're in a can. And sometimes I even do food prep, like I cut all my own tofu and all that other stuff. So I haven't got to the point where I can make my own salsa or my own sauces yet. That was something I was going to try to start doing in 2019. You guys may remember in 2019, I wasn't doing videos, but I've talked about this endlessly. My life went horribly off course. And to the point where that's a lot of reason why I was not ready for the flood that happened in 2021. It traumatized me. I mean, every time I would go in that room, it just now it's like I'm resigned. I took everything out of the room, and it also catalyzed me. It was like, I've got all these comics. I was only going to sell like maybe a quarter of my comic collection originally. Now I'm going to sell probably 3/4 of it. Yeah, 2/3 to 3/4. But I'm always weeding through things that I can part with. And that's what I was bummed about losing these DVDs, because I was to the point where with most of them, I'm like, I can part with almost all of these now. And now I'm just, no, they look terrible. I mean, nobody's going to want to buy them. So, anyway, but that's the only real bummer, massive bummer. Like I said, I didn't lose many comics this time. A couple of Doctor Stranges, no key issues. But the bags and bagging saved me. And that flood I had during the ice storm, Pat McCrory era, the bottoms of all my comic boxes were soaked. But I had those were incredible. Those older boxes that were cardboard, and the bottoms were they had wax and they had tape and reinforced. And it took a bit to get through all that. And the water got through it, but it didn't get through the bags and bagging. Over the years, I have found a few that it did actually get to that I didn't know about. Like I'll find some that are stuck together. That's from way back flood. We're talking 15 plus years ago. So that sucks, but they're usually in condition where at least I can sell them. I can just put them in a lower condition. So basically, I've got all this coiled energy. I haven't been able to talk. I haven't gone out much except to work. I'm off work tomorrow. I still have plumbing work to be done, but I ran out of money. I did a bit of it. I had a bit of it done with a guy. I tried a new guy out. They're okay, their company or whatever. But again, the price is to do this entire job on the pipe and everything, restoration. But that's not even patching the ceiling back, which they've opened. Which I'm just going to leave it open. But it's going to be a bit. So I'm going to be in this kind of back and forth, mostly no running water. Like I've filled about 20 gallons of water to use for my toilet and for washing my hands and to boil. And I'll probably have to do do about 20 more on like Wednesday. So I thought Thursday I would be able to get the guy back over and do it, but I'm just not going to have enough money to do it comfortably and have anything left over. I think I'm caught up on all my bills except my HOA. So this is where I'm at. And I just wanted to say I'm here, I'm alive. If anyone's interested, all these things that I've been telling a lot of my friends, I'll tell you when I can talk in voice clips and too much to type. And I'm finally gradually telling certain people. So now I'm telling everybody, all 337 subscribers, however many of y'all are going to watch. I hope all of you watch, and I hope more people will subscribe that are watching, please. And please like this video. In the interim where I've been gone, my videos, some of them slowly started to rise in views and popularity, like likes, and then they just all kind of froze. There's like 5 that are still daily acquiring, views and occasionally likes. But my latest was the films of Shinya Tsukamoto unboxing set. And luckily, I had that set during this horrible period. I was coming off of watching the Shawscope Volume 2 box that I did the unboxing video of. It was beautiful. That's like 12 films and all these extras. So I watched 10 films by Shinya Tsukamoto, 8 feature films, 2 short films. Of course, Tetsuo of the Iron Man is kind of a short film. It's just barely feature length, like an hour. So man, and all the extras, and I gotta say, this guy has gone way up. I always liked him a lot. I think he's gone way up in my estimation of favorite directors, probably in the top 25, if not the top 20. And I mean, as a person, he seems like an incredible guy, like super philosophical, funny, self-aware, just so creative the way he looks at the world, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing. People like that their existence makes me happy that they're out there, doing art. And it's going to cry, man, because it's one of those things. It's one of those wow, moving things. So, almost had a new woman in my life in a kind of a part-time affair capacity, but I don't know kind of what's happened there. I mean, I literally don't. I don't know what's happening with her. I don't know what I think about her. I don't know what I think about the whole thing. I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway, so on that front, everything's kind of just, I've changed course yet again. So my constant seeking of female companionship or love or sex or partnership, I'm withdrawing. I went through an intense period leading up to this kind of bad 2 weeks where I was like heavily frequenting some dating sites and talking to a few people. This period lasted a few months. And I talked about this before in a video. And one of the young ladies that I met on Facebook during that time, or I already met her, she and I got kind of close, and then we lost touch. And then at the end of some bad dating cycles, on only one date, actual physical date with a person, and she was really cool, but it didn't really pan out in the long run. I still think she's a cool person. But at the end of that cycle, for whatever reason, it's like closing a door. The young lady, Damie Lee, that I was getting involved with, I haven't said her name on camera before, but I'm going to go ahead and say it because she needs to be remembered. At the end of that cycle, she died suddenly and tragically in her sleep. She lived in New Orleans. And I dreamed about her the other night, and I think she visited me. She was an artist, a very cosmic thinker. I don't know how to describe her, but when we all started to lose touch, she was having a huge amount of personal problems. And she kind of told me she was interested in dating me, but she was having all these problems. And, some of that dovetailed into what ended up happening to her. And then some of it's kind of mysterious. The people she ended up staying with, they kind of know, but they're keeping it close to the vest. So that's fine. Her cat is named Foo, and I think they're either gonna keep her or find Foo a new home. And recently, I just was searching her, and I found my messenger thread where we've been talking, and it got pretty hot for a while. And she sent me some cool videos of her dancing with this kind of S&M mask on to some music. It was pretty hot. I mean, she was just a wild, interesting, not wild like crazy like partying, but she was just she was out there and very compatible with me. But you know, the reason I didn't more aggressively or more steadily try to keep the thread going in between that time that we lost the thread, and the time I found out she passed, was because of all these bad experiences. And I was just like, when things are starting to go south now, I just closed the door. And I think sadly I learned that from women that have done that to me. And it's not a lesson I wanted to learn how to do to other people, but it's just another survival strategy. I try to do it with as little of no pain as possible, and usually there's not enough closeness, to involve pain. But sometimes, you get close, really close, where and who you want to be with. Very rarely, but I did with Admeliora, who I've spoken of quite a bit and fondly. I did some videos about, and I would have married her. I would have easily married her. But it was painful when we reached that stage, and she reached more of the stage with me. Like, I've got to close the door on you. It didn't have to happen, but I guess in a way it did have to happen. So I don't have any ill weirdness, because when she broke up with me, we were only kind of starting to be together. She gave me more clarity and more closure in three short paragraphs in a text than I ever received from my ex-fiance, much less my ex-wife. So, and some other women that abandoned me. So, I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I guess I'm just unburdening and sharing more stuff about myself. This is where I'm at. So I'm still single. I'm kind of looking, but I mean, there are women who are attracted to me. My first part of my life, I could not attract women at all. At all. Repelling women right and left. And then I'd try so hard and I'd get obsessed with things. And I wasted a lot of time, a lot of years really, in that emotional pit. And a lot of it's because of my chemical imbalance and trauma that had happened to me. Accrued trauma. Not many good role models for how to go about having a loving, nurturing relationship. And yet I was very romantic, and I was very gentle and tender. And now I'm a bit more coarse and jaded and crude. But as far as love and sex, but I am still a romantic at heart. It's just that stuff comes out of my art, my writing. My characters express all this. So I have a particular character that I've been charting. I've mentioned before, I have some that I call my alters, and there is a literary term for that, or a term where the person is like your alter ego, like he's the character is the surrogate for you, the artist. It's not a amanuensis. That's a similar kind of literary thing, but I can't think of the name. My friend Tim McLain would let me know. So please tell me, Tim. And Tim's been a huge help to me lately. I love the guy. Thank you, Tim. But you see it in movies, where you had Kurosawa had his voice. His guy was Mifune, Toshiro Mifune. Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro. There's a bunch, but those are just two that immediately come to mind. The closest Cronenberg has come with Viggo Mortensen and Jeremy Irons. But yeah, it's like they're the voice for the writer, or filmmaker, creator, director, whatever. So I have some characters like that. I have their fragments. Each is a fragment of me, and they're kind of ones that when I want to get very autobiographical, at least in what I'm expressing emotionally, maybe not all the fine details of the plot, I will live through that character. I will allow that character to be channeled through me. I used to feel like I inhabited that character, and maybe there is still some of that. But now, since I've been into this channeling thing that I've kind of learned slash was revealed to me by my ex fiance, this epiphany, which was 2 days ago, January 6th, is the epiphany. I had a band called Epiphany many years ago. I used to go by the name Zeo Epiphany for very briefly. Thank God, it was embarrassing, but Zeo is still, my middle name. Um, but yeah, this process now is more channeling. I channel. I don't really contrive. When I contrive, it usually sucks. But sometimes I have to contrive to kind of make things fit and make things work. And then I have to kind of go back over it, and have it be organic. And that's why I'm putting a whole new document this year now, 2023, called Flicker Street The Truth on our website, because last year I finally posted the entire unexpurgated 75,000 word Flicker Street, what was it called? Flicker Street The Birth, which is a joke, a takeoff on Twin Peaks The Return. But it was the birth, and basically it's as the story as it had evolved over a 30-year period. So now, where the story is and where that whole history is, I've kind of, I don't want to say retconned, but I've reached back and I've overwritten a lot of things and I've brought things out. Because my frame of mind when I wrote Flicker Street The Birth, which I wrote intermittently over a 3-year period, most of my mental state in that period was not very good. Most of the writing was not very good. And it was, just boring, linear, epic storytelling. I edited it quite a bit before I posted the final. I tweaked it and tried to clean it up over a period of a year. And to me, it's readable. But there's a lot of things in there that factually now are not correct. A lot of the hard facts, like when somebody met and married somebody, or when somebody was born or died, or this major event happened, most of all that's pretty much fixed in stone in my continuity. But a lot of the context, the subtext, and events kind of happening around it, and events involving characters I've made up since then that I've woven through in with the older characters, that's going to be brand new material. No one's ever read it. And most of it I still haven't written down on paper or electronically. I have it here. But I have written quite a bit of it. But I haven't posted any of it on the internet. I may start serializing it the way I did The Birth over a long period of time on Facebook. I might do that on my website and then just collect it again. I don't know, but it will be the final word on what the back history of Flicker Street is. And I love the way it's going. I feel it. I feel it coming through me. A recent video where I talked a bit about this kind of stuff, which I hope you'll check out. It's called Annexia Incarnata, a Flicker Street Tale. Because that kind of reveals a bit of my process and also my current plots, some of the current and back plots I was working on, some of the cosmology of the world of Flicker Street, and also how my own dreams became almost literal autobiographical fodder, plot fodder. I was almost able to transfer some dreams verbatim. And like in the dream, the me that's in the dream experiencing, I would use one of those surrogate me's or alters I mentioned earlier. And I did one with this character, Leif Erikson Drake, and it worked out beautifully. And it's a brutal story. I dreamed it, and I kept most of the details the same. I just filled in all the characters and who was who in the Flicker Street world. And, it was some extreme gore, violence, torture, sexual violence. Not all of it, like blatantly on camera in front of you, but experienced. The aftermath is seen. Some ugly stuff, but it's all in that video. And it's really funny when I told my therapist about that one. And she had a really powerfully good response. And I did not expect that from her at all, because I don't think she really gets what I'm doing. But she said the process of having those dreams and translating them into that story, and then the extension of that story, which is Annexia Incarnata, where I'm kind of using Leaf to work out my feelings and issues about my ex-fiance, and her character is Annexia Incarnata. Well, she's Ariel Ratio, but she ascends to goddesshood. So I went through all that, and that is my cleansing, my catharsis for that. It's been very, very helpful. So, anyway, this is all old stuff. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I don't want to get long. I should have only done like 20 minutes, but I'm back. I'm alive. I yet live, as Lord Greystoke said. I'm a survivor like Wolverine. And I'm eager to review some movies and talk about some comics, and talk about some comic book movies, and review my friend's album that I've been sitting on for like 3 or 4 months, and do some socio-political commentary. It's all coming up, and I want to thank a few people real quick. I'll probably thank them in the, credits, description, but people who have specifically given me specific feedback and measured feedback and specific support, either moral support, supporting the channel, understanding what I'm doing, telling me to keep going for it, that I'm onto something, and or patronage, financial support. So, I have to credit Tim Tolbert, I have to credit Sean Lee Levin, Tim McLain, Amy Green, Jessica Anderson, Mick Cantone, Shelly Druckrey. I'm forgetting people. There are some other patrons, but like Jing and Drew Dahmer and Dwayne Cochran, but they haven't given me any feedback on any of my material specifically like these other people have. So, so those people have helped me a lot. Very recently, the two Tims and Sean and Jessica and Amy especially have given me an enormous amount of feedback. And, it's really helping. It really helps me. Oh, Kimberly Lindbergs was one of those people early on, too. I can't really forget her. She's very busy, and we don't really talk anymore, but I've mentioned her on this channel a lot and talked about some of her work, she read the liner notes to Murder in the Blue World, which I did a video for the Blu-ray release, and it's gotten quite a number of views. Great release by Eloy De La Iglesia. It was released by Severin. So I'm eager to get back into the trenches, but I just wanted you to know I'm here because I'm still having intermittent problems with my voice. I can't quite sing anymore. There's like certain things I can't do, some of those falsetto-y and funny voices, because I do a lot of funny voices and impressions, even to myself and to my cat and to friends, whatever. But I can't do a lot of those. I can't hit those pitches. Like I'll open my mouth and like nothing will come out. So I'm still gonna need some time. I don't have COVID in my system anymore, but I still have a cold. I still have some throat healing that needs to go on. So on that note, I'm gonna go on. Thank you so much, and I'm back. I don't know when I'll be able to post another video. It'll probably be quite a few days. And if not, it'll be a pleasant surprise. So I'll put announcements in my commentary, community page. Thank you. Take care.